What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Figure It Out of the Basement's Black Series talk show. I'm Nate, joined with Justin.
What's up, guys?
And today we're going to be talking about all of the figures and characters that we would like to see from the 2D Tartakovsky Clone Wars miniseries.
We are done with the Skywalker saga, Nate. If you would like to see our wish list videos from episodes 1 to 6 and then 7, 8, 9, go ahead and check out the Black Series wish list playlist. You and I absolutely adore 2D Clone Wars. This is actually our biggest list yet.
Yeah, this is one of those where for a long time, like when I was a kid growing up, like this was my Clone Wars. I didn't watch 3D Clone Wars until I was an adult. I was always turned off by the animation. I thought it looked weird, so I never watched it, even when I was like, you know, around like the teenager age kind of when that was airing. So to me, this was my Clone Wars, so there's a ton of stuff that I would like to see from this series, and I feel like you kind of share the same sentiment as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love classic Cartoon Network, Samurai Jack vibes, of course, same creator. So I like both. I prefer 3D, just the lore.
Oh yeah,
and just the deeper story, but I've always held a special place in my heart for 2D. So let's just jump into it. This is actually a top 10. We actually have 10 things.
Wow.
It's usually just like whatever number we're feeling, but we do have 10. So coming in at number 10, if you will, is the IG Lancer droid.
This one is a no-brainer. These are the droids we see that flank Dirge in the awesome scene with Dirge versus Obi-Wan, and they're on the speeders, and it's all really cool, but they're blacked out. They're like super pointy, and they also have literal lances, like knights.
Right, and there's like clone trooper versions of it as well. 2-pack?
I mean, I'm in. Kind of the whole like the whole look of the 2D Clone Wars series is very like knight in armor focused. Like almost every character, especially like the Jedis and stuff, everyone has like a very like medieval knight look, which is awesome. It's great stuff, but the IG droid would just make total perfect sense. I mean, it's another cool droid. I don't even really need the speeder. The speeder would be nice.
The speeder would be nice, and it would be nice to return to like those smaller vehicles too.
But if they just wanted to give us like a new IG body, please.
Yeah, which IG-12 is new. I believe that was heavily confirmed / rumored.
Okay.
So let's get it.
Now this next one, Justin, is a figure that we technically already have, but the 9th choice on this list is Clone Commander Obi-Wan Kenobi, with the asterisk that this would be updated on the 2023 body and also include an accurate head sculpt. Infamously, the version that we got looked pretty great. You know, it still looks good to this day, but it is on that awful old 2013 Clone Trooper body.
Yes.
And for some reason, they gave him the Revenge of the Sith head versus the Attack of the Clones like mullet look.
Right, I definitely don't understand. That seems like a pretty easy thing. They've always sort of messed up on the 2D Clone Wars, you know, like Fordo and stuff like that. So I feel like this would just be an easy one to get. Just Obi-Wan with the mullet, 2023 body, and do the soft goods like how they were like tucked in on the front. So that's a figure that definitely needs a redo. Up next is Anakin Skywalker, parentheses, shirtless, blue tattoo version.
Yes. Give it to me. One of the coolest parts of the 2D Clone Wars series. A little bit of lore, because it was kind of in the later half of the series where they started to give us a little bit more dialogue, a little bit more story. You know, obviously, like the first volume, it was all just action, boom booms, not like a lot of talking or anything like that. So it was cool to see this, and it's kind of like a Jedi trial thing, you know? Yeah,
and they've done a couple of different, you know, toy versions of this with the blue tattoos. So they can do it again. And Anakin's always sell. Anakin is a super desirable figure in the line. So even though this is kind of a deep cut, it's still Anakin, and it would still fly off the shelves.
Definitely. Our next choice is the 2D version of Ventress, which this one is actually legitimately a head scratcher to me that we don't just have it in the line, because it's a very, very similar look to Ventress's Clone Wars appearance. It's just instead of being purple, she's more so just gray and black colored. And I feel like that would have been like the easiest like repaint they could have done in the line. But we do need this version. This was how we were introduced to Ventress, and I love this costume.
It's so badass. I love when she has the lightsabers out and it starts raining.
Yeah.
And it's like hissing off the lightsaber.
Right.
And there's a great fight scene, and Anakin screams at the end, and it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, the voice acting, especially Anakin's voice actor, a little wonky, not gonna lie.
I love it because it's like it's like the bored Hayden of like Attack of the Clones, but it's like cranked to like 9,000.
True.
I love it. You know what else I love, Nate? Clone Troopers. And you know, in Clone Wars, there's going to be a clone or two on this list. And if I had to choose, I'm going the Scuba Clone Trooper.
Yes.
From the awesome little mini arc with shirtless Kit Fisto, which isn't on this list, but that would also be awesome to get buff shirtless Kit.
Oh, I would easily buy that any day of the week.
Because there's also an arc in 3D Clone Wars with buff shirtless Kit and Scuba Clone Troopers. So you could kind of... It's a little different design, but I've always been a fan of like the aqua... scuba underwater clone troopers. I'm like, that's just cool.
Yeah, I definitely think the design is a little bit more inspired in the 2D Clone Wars version. They kind of played a little bit safer in the 3D adaptation. Looks more in line with the clone troopers, but for the scuba trooper, kind of almost has like a little bit of like a G.I. Joe vibe going on, where it's like they've got you know, they're like, oh, it's a clone trooper in the water, so they got to look like a scuba diver.
Yep. Give him the little thing on the back and the flippers.
Yep, you gotta have the flippers. Guaranteed. Now, Justin, one of the most famous, popular scenes in the 2D Clone Wars series is the introduction of General Grievous. General Grievous is not who we're talking about, but we're talking about a very particular Jedi that is also featured in these scenes. And the next pick on this list is Jedi Sha'agi, which, for those who don't know, is literally just a Scooby-Doo reference. It's Shaggy as a Jedi.
Yep, and that's literally the only reason we would have them on this list. Very short-lived character, kind of has a panic attack and runs out into the open and gets taken out by Grievous, but, you know, green lightsaber, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
I see where they're going with
the
this.
little chin hairs,
Yeah.
you know, you're just like, wow, they did not even try to like hide that at all. But but it's great. It's a fun little cutesy reference, especially with it being a Cartoon Network show. It's nice that they were, you know, showing some love for some other Cartoon Network programming.
Yeah, real quick, I do want to say Shakti is in that scene, but the reason she's not on this list is because I believe she was in the Attack of the Clones list, and we do not repeat characters on these wish lists. Now we're getting into the stuff that I really, really want.
This would be unbelievable if we actually got it.
Foul Modama, aka the Tal's species Jedi, would just be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot to say about it, but like we keep talking about, in the 2D Clone Wars series, it was great to see so many different races, so many different species as Jedi, and you see the Tals and you're just like, the weird thing from the cantina can be a Jedi? Like,
right, it really helps the world building. You're like, okay, that makes sense. This is like a different species, but it's not, you know, the same guy from the cantina. He must come from a whole planet, and it's a whole race of people. And world building, I love it. Aliens, unique sculpts. We're big advocates for aliens in the Black Series. Of course, also give us a Muftak.
yeah.
It's probably my number 1 or number 2 most wanted Cantina patron after MoMA.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, the opportunity is just sitting right in front of Hasbro to give us, you know, a little 2-for-1. All they have to do is sculpt the talls initially, and then they could just do Jedi piece overlays over the figure, and you got 2 figures you could use from $1. In relation to that, Justin, we also have Roran Korob, which is the Ithorian Jedi.
Yeah, so speaking of Momoth, let's get a little bit of reuse with that. Jedi overlay.
I feel like they have to.
Robe.
They have to give us Roran. It would be so easy for them to just take the pieces we've already got, do a couple new overlays, and we would have like one of the coolest, most unique Jedi that we could possibly have on the shelf, and it would be a super deep cut. But I also think, you know, this would appeal to original trilogy fans that just like Ithorians, but it would also appeal to the cloner Jedi crowd because it's a unique, different Jedi.
Yeah, so good old Roran, he made the top 3, and like we said, I just hope he's coming. I hope he's coming.
Eric, Mr. Stevie, please
take some notes. Our second to last pick for 2D Clone Wars is a clone.
I like clones.
I do like clones. And since we have the Red ARC Trooper released in the Black Series, kind of an infamous figure, let's fix all the issues with that figure and paint him blue. And let us get the blue ARC Trooper.
I mean, I'm in. Another super cool scene where you've got the red and the blue clone, and they're just popping off, and they're just murking all the battle droids, and, you know, maybe just throw us a bone and give them a rocket launcher that like they have.
Sure.
But this is also another figure, you know, TVC has it, so we got to balance those scales, brother. So
let's tip them back.
Yeah.
Let's tip them back.
Yeah, it's time that, you know, TVC stops getting so many awesome, unique clone troopers, and it's time to level the playing field and give us these looks in Black Series.
Don't even use the ARC Trooper body, because that was the whole weird thing with the Black Series Red ARC Trooper. Just use the regular Clone Trooper body. I don't know why they did the whole big bulky thing, probably because it's called an ARC Trooper in Clone Wars, so they're like, well, we have to use the ARC Trooper body. Stop with that weird logic and just do what you see on the screen. Just use the regular Clone Trooper body, put the pouch thing on there, holsters, maybe do the bigger like blaster rifles, like the longer ones.
Oh yeah, I would love to see the more stylized, like, you know, blaster pistols. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's like you look at the ARC Trooper, the red one, and it's, you know, they probably put him on the ARC Trooper body for consistency's sake. But as we all know, especially with the Black Series team, consistency only matters when they feel like it matters. Especially
with clones. Like, clone troopers in the Black Series are the most inconsistent. There's like 5 or 6 different... There's like 3 different sculpts, maybe 4, and then there's like 2 or 3 different kit bashes that they've done. I'm like, they have like 5, 6, 7 different variations. Like, it's the most inconsistent thing in the line. And I think that's why I'm really like locked in on the 2023 sculpt. And I've even been getting rid of some of my 2020 body clones. I really want them to focus on this 2023 sculpt. So just put it on that base body, pouch, helmet, blasters, holsters. I buy.
It's easy. And Justin, the final pick for this list. I could hear people furiously typing before they got to this point. But of course, our #1 most desirable pick from the 2D Clone Wars series would be Dirge. Of course.
Of course.
It's Dirge. You don't really need to say a whole lot. Cool, awesome Mandalorian bounty hunter. Or not necessarily Mandalorian, but he was like tortured by Mandalorians, so he like
and
wears...
he has that like knight, like medieval knight vibe going, just like the Mandos do as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally a big goop monster in a giant suit of armor.
Then we get the SDCC exclusive squid, like pink goop version. He's just so badass. And he's even made some recent appearances in canon comic books. So, sure, it'd be a big bulky character, it'd be a deluxe, but to get such a unique looking thing from Star Wars on the shelf, I'm willing to shell out the extra few dollars for a deluxe.
Easily. And I think most people out there would also feel the same way. And I would even take just any dirge if you want to give us any look. It doesn't even necessarily have to be the 2D Clone Wars version, because his look does slightly vary, like you know, the figure I have up on the wall there.
True.
It's like slightly different.
Yeah.
But, you know, it'd be cool to see.
He's straight up iconic.
Yep. And it would be another bounty hunter that we could put on the shelf. And just like Clone Troopers, we love bounty hunters and we want them all.
Super ultra mega fantastic deluxe set with the speeder bike.
Don't play
and the
with
lance.
Me. Don't play with me, Justin.
And then we get the Obi-Wan that's on our list, and we can clash. Then we can really play with our figures in the bathtub.
I would cry tears of joy if that happened to me. That would probably be one of like the most nostalgic experiences I could possibly have with Black Series figures. So I say bring it on. Now, Justin, just real quick before we go, I just want to rifle off, you know, Sassy Tin in the armor
with the
Yoda on the little creature.
Sure, why not? Shirtless Kit, like we said.
Yeah, shirtless Kit. That would be great. There's pretty much every Jedi that you see on screen in the 2D Clone Wars series. I want a figure of it.
Agreed.
And so with all that being said, that is all we have for you on this week's episode of Figure It Out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. Subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about Star Wars The Black Series here on the channel. And if you are in a position to help support the channel directly, we do also offer a couple different channel membership tiers. Definitely check those out. There are links down in the description below. But of course, if you cannot support us in the direct manner, no worries there. Simply watching, liking, subscribing is more than enough for us. Don't forget to leave a comment as well. Let us know who you would like to see from the 2D Clone Wars series. There is so much in this series, and it's only 2 hours long.
Right.
But within that 2 hours, there is just an insane amount of characters and all sorts of cool stuff packed into it. Also, don't forget to check out the Discord. It's the best place to get connected with the community. You could have engagements where you load up the Discord app and there's 1,000+ new messages.
And it's all just brain rot.
Yeah.
But still join.
Yeah.
Still join for the in-stock alerts. That's one of the main reasons we like to promote why you should join, and then you join and then you just get brain rot.
Yep. That's how it goes. That one's completely free. Again, link down in the description. Finally, we got to give a special thank you and a huge shout out to all of our current channel members. Your continued support is truly appreciated. And thank you to everyone else out there for watching. I'm Nate. I've been joined with Justin.
See you guys later.
And we will see you all next time on Out of the Basement.